All right, guys, it is Statsational back with, I can't really say back since I'd never done this before. This is the first of my PrizePicks videos. I'm going to try to get these out to you on a daily basis, taking a little bit of a different angle than you're going to see with most people here on YouTube. I'm going to focus on the Proptimizer. You guys know I'm all about the numbers. I've made a lot of money in DFS and sports betting on stuff that I didn't necessarily even understand. Sports like soccer at the time, I didn't know a ton about. Not that I'm an expert in soccer now, but I've won contests on DFS playing soccer, NASCAR, UFC, sports that I wasn't necessarily an expert in, but I understand the numbers and I understand how to play these games. So that's more important to me than actually being some expert and understanding the spin rates here in baseball and the K rates and how one pitcher matches up and lefty matchup against lefties in a lineup. Whatever it is, you can overanalyze all this stuff. Let me give you a little tip here, right? So when you are looking at something that everyone else in the market has, all that information is out there, then it's baked into the number. Unless you have your own model and you're looking at stats in a way that maybe the rest of the market isn't looking at, or you're looking at something different, then your model are already baked in. When people look at it, they're like, well, the wind is blowing out today at Wrigley 15 to 20 miles an hour, as if they were the only ones who knew the wind was blowing out. The entire market knows that. Now, if you know that the wind is going to be blowing out tomorrow at Wrigley, but nobody else does because you have some great model on the weather, and right now the weather is showing all over the place that it's going to be blowing in 15 to 20 miles per hour, but you somehow have figured out a better weather model and you know it's going to be blowing out 15 to 20, well, now you can take advantage of that because you've got information that the rest of the market doesn't, right? So that's an extreme example, but it can happen. It is possible, and that's why there are some smart people out there who build these models that beat systems. We've done really well beating the NBA on props and MLB. The NBA, 160 units or so since March 1st when I started the NBA Top Props article that you guys read. Most of you guys are following that in the Sharp app. The MLB's up about 11 and a half, almost 12 units on the season. I strictly do K props for that. Now, those are being bet against the sports book. There's times where there's going to be a contradiction. Sometimes you may like, or I may like, a bet against the sports book. I hate it on PrizePicks and vice versa. So I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of my MLB top props when I have some plays that I want to pass on to you guys for the Ks, and I'm going to be highlighting some of the things that we're seeing on PrizePicks. There's a way to play PrizePicks. No bet do I ever make because I think the bet is going to win. That may sound crazy. That is not how you bet. So you could follow all these people that you want to follow. They're going to give you the lock and the game that they love and the play that they love. This prop can't lose because this guy crushes left-handed pitching and blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit. What we're trying to do is figure out, is this more likely or less likely than the market is projecting to happen? The market thinks this is going to happen 55% of the time. I think it happens 60% of the time. I make a bet. The market thinks this is going to happen 20% of the time. I think it happens 30% of the time. I'm making a bet. Now you say 30% of the time you think it's going to win. The market thinks 20%. Okay, fine. I go into that knowing that I'm going to probably lose that bet because 70% of the time, my own model thinks 70% of the time I lose that bet. But over time, I'm going to win. That's just a little tip. I don't want to get too deep in the woods on sports betting and stuff like that. I'm going to throw those little tidbits out at you guys on how to become sharper and smarter. So when you guys ask questions, what do you think about this? Do you think this guy is going to get more than those strikeouts? I can only tell you what the probability is of whatever bet you guys want to make. I can tell you what the probability I think is of that bet going over or under a certain number. And then you do with that information what you like. So if you want to leave a comment down below, if you got a particular prop, I can tell you based on my numbers what the probability is of that hitting. I have no idea. Neither do you. Neither does anyone else, whether it will hit or not. 55% means 45% of the time the opposite's going to happen, right? So nothing is a guarantee. Nothing is a lock. Let's jump into the Proptimizer, though. I want to show you guys the tool that I use to make picks on PrizePicks. I made a couple of bets yesterday, or one bet yesterday on a two-teamer. I don't play a lot of two-teamers on PrizePicks. I like the 5 and 6 teamers because, or 5-6 leg, I should say, the 5 flex, the 6 flex, because you need to hit at a less frequent amount. The win rate, the odds to hit rate need to be lower on those plays. Now, you're going to hit them less often. Like I said, I don't expect to win it on a daily basis. I lose them more often than I win, but I don't need to hit too high of a rate that I don't think I'm capable of hitting. This is all a little confusing. I'm going to have links down below to some videos and articles all on this. You guys will understand it better. Also in the Discord, You can see in our Discord here, I've got the numbers that correlate, like what win rate you need based on the type of play that you're playing overall. And if you factor in the pushes, like the 2s, the 3s, especially NHL, when you're looking at 2 shots on goal, 3 shots on goal, when we're looking in MLB with strikeouts, and even NBA, you might have 3, 4 assists, something like that. So let's jump into the Proptimizer, and we'll get into that more, exactly what I'm talking about. All right, guys, this is the Proptimizer. You're looking at the web version of the Proptimizer, which is slightly different than what you're going to see on the app itself. Now, the numbers and the probabilities, the odds to hit, those are going to be the same, but we've got a little bit more information on the website. So if you're just looking at it on the app, you might want to check out the website. So this is for the pro members only. So you guys are getting a look at this if you're not a pro member of the Sharp app. But it's a really powerful tool, and it's what I use to beat PrizePicks. Let's just take a look at the first one, right? Total outs recorded, Alcantara. PrizePicks right now is over 19.5. That's the number you need to beat, more or less. You guys who play PrizePicks understand how that works. Proptimizer is suggesting the over here because the consensus on the market is 20.5 minus 108, and I'm going to open it up here and show you guys what we mean by that. Based on 20.5 minus 108, the projection is 20.37. How do we get 20.5 minus 108? Well, there's 2 books of the legal sports books that we get access to, and we get that data from, that are right now offering this prop at 20.5, right? The over-under is 20.5 minus 105 on the over, and minus 110 over at Caesars on the over. You get an average minus 107.5. We'll round that to minus 108. Based on this number, you can figure it out. There are ways to figure out exactly what the sports books think the projected prop to be, or the projection for Alcantara. So they're projecting 20.37 outs recorded. Now, this number is going to change throughout the day. When this number, if BetMGM gets up to minus 115 and Caesars gets up to minus 20, well, this number is going to increase. If this dips down to plus 105, well, this number is going to get lower. So you're going to want to be on the app, constantly refreshing, checking out the numbers to see when good plays present themselves for you over at PrizePicks. All right, so right now, as of this second of recording it, of course, we've got a 56.33% chance of winning. Now, there's a lot of math behind this. I'm not going to go over all the math. Like, you can figure out the projection. There are ways to figure out, based on that projection, what the probability is of hitting. And now, using that probability number, go into our Discord. You've got all the numbers there that you'll be able to see. I pinned in the Discord, the PrizePicks discussion room or channel, whatever you guys want to call it in Discord. You'll see exactly what the numbers that correlate to the game that you're playing. If you're playing a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 leg type of parlay or flex or power play, it's going to differ on how high a percentage you need to win in order to break even. So that's really important. If we base this strictly off sportsbook projection of 20.37, it gives us 56.33. This top props number, that's our AI model, 19.8. The model's projection of how many outs, so barely over the 19.5. This alone would not be a great play. I wouldn't just play this if I saw my projection to be 19.8, and 19.5 on total outs recorded was the number to beat. But it is slightly above the 19.5, and when you put that together with where the sports books are projecting it, I think this is a decent play on Alcantara. I can totally understand not liking this play. So if you like this play, that's just going to give you more reinforcement to it, right? So if you don't like this play, I would totally throw it out because it's not a huge monster play. But I like to use these things as a filter. I look at my plays, the plays that I like, and then I use the Proptimizer tool to either toss that play away or reinforce the play, and it makes it even that much stronger. So let's go down to strikeouts for Houck. So you've got a strikeout number of 5.5 plus 103 to the over. That translates to 5.4 strikeouts. Now take a look at the top prop projection. We have it at 4.77. Let's call it 4.8. Now this is a 55% chance of hitting, but when you factor in the fact that our AI model likes this to go significantly more to the under, then I don't really like this play. I don't like Houck. I like the over 5 at 5.4, but now I want to throw this one out because it is giving me a projection under the 5. So that's how I'm going to filter that one out. Let's look at Rich Hill, his strikeouts under 6. What this number is telling you is 54.75% of the time, if it was just a win or lose, if this was just going to go under or over, right? So if it was just going to do that, it's going to hit under 54.75% of the time and over whatever that number becomes, 45.25% of the time, but it's not factoring in the pushes. So use the chart, and if you don't understand, just leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to help you out with that. But the higher the number becomes, the less you have to worry about pushes. The probability of a push lowers. But at 6, we've probably got, I don't know, about 15, 16% chance of a push. So it is still fairly significant. But what happens is, as that number increases, the odds to hit, the percentage that you need to hit, start to normalize. It starts to get closer to what the projection is, or what the odds to hit or break even point are for any play. The higher the number, the lower you need as far as an odds to hit. So this 6 is it's not a high number, but the probability is lower at 6 than it would be on the 5. So I kind of like this one a little bit better maybe than the Alcantara play, even though the percentage is slightly different. And when we take a look at the numbers, let's take a look. You've got the under 6.5 is heavily juiced in the market. Look at this, right? So even FanDuel's down to 5.5, but you've got a consensus of -191. That translates to 5.92, which is, of course, under the 6. When we look at our projections from the top prop, 5.56 is the projection. 54.75 would even be a higher number based on this top props number. So I do kind of like this Rich Hill under strikeout number quite a bit. So I would look to a Hill. If you like the Alcantara, this is going to change, guys. This changes quite frequently. This has changed since the first time I looked at it about an hour ago. There's some plays on here that are no longer on here, and then some plays that have now popped up that weren't on here before. So you're going to need to refresh this throughout the course of the day. Those are a couple of plays I like. In future videos, I'm going to go over some top props that I like with you guys. I'll make these videos shorter, I promise. That's just a look at the Proptimizer for today. Those are, listen, it's all math. It's based on the numbers. Questions down below. Happy to answer them for you guys. Good luck, and I'll be back with another video, hopefully tomorrow.